We see Texas as a crucial and a critical location for us to grow and to help Slovak companies grow in the United States. It's the land of opportunity.
Welcome to the Texas Embassy podcast. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you very much for having me. So my name is Vladimir Lackovic, and I'm the special representative to the United States for trade and investment. But I was born in Slovakia, so I'm representing Slovakia.
I love that. So tell us about your childhood. Like, how did you end up in this role?
Well, so I was born in Slovakia. I was raised in Slovakia, and when I was 15, my father told me that we're moving to New York. He was a diplomat, he was a military guy, and he was he was an advisor to the UN for military. So we moved to New York when I was 15, changed my life. I'm so happy for it. It introduced me to the US culture, to the diversity of New York City. I got to go to public school in New York. So it really changed my life. And when my parents were moving back after 3 years, I stayed in New York, and I still haven't returned to Slovakia.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I went to study business in New York City, and I opened, right after college, I started my own company with a couple partners. We started a digital marketing agency, which was so much fun. This was at the time when, Facebook started to be, you could use it or to monetize it. So we started working with big companies. We worked with the NFL, we worked with NBC, we worked with all the publishing houses. So many cool projects in tourism with I Love New York. So I love working with different clients and being creative. And at some point after 10 years, we decided to sell the company, and I went back to school.
Get out of here. I didn't know that about you. So I love that you got it, what they call man in the arena, right? You started a company, you understand the hustle of it all, and that you have an exit under your belt.
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
In New York City. Man,
in New York City.
It's tough to get it done in New York City. And I have some startups that failed as part of it too, so I understand what that feels like, and it pushes you forward.
I will tell you that, I've worked with other trade and invest, and nothing against them, but they haven't been a business leader, and you have. I think that's a distinguishing feature that I wish more people that worked in that environment would better understand, because it makes for a better conversation, and you're somewhat empathetic, or you will recognize the opportunity, or maybe where there is not an opportunity, probably be more vocal about that.
And you're right about economic development. You're having that experience in the US, and knowing how the business works and how you sell, how you communicate is crucial. So I'm happy that I'm in this role now, but the way that I got to it after is, I went to study for this mid-career program in Boston at the Fletcher School, focused on international relations and technology, focusing on AI, general tech. And I also have been involved for the last 10, maybe 15 years with Slovak Pro, and I used to run it. Now I'm part of the leadership team, and it's an organization that connects and empowers Slovak professionals in the United States. So that's my, that's my special.
I can see the smile in your face. Like, you enjoy it. It fills your cup, as they say.
Yeah. No, so it's an organization that started in New York back in 2001. I joined it later. And over the last maybe 5 years, we grew it from New York City to become a national organization. Now it is in 11 cities. We have 40 leaders. We organize 50 events a year. And it's specifically tailored for professionals. So we have people that are leaders of companies that work in big corporations, that we have scientists, doctors, but that are of Slovak origin, whether they're here for a year or 20 years, or they're second or third generation. It's a community that empowers each other, in business, in careers, and now we're giving back to Slovakia. So when we bring companies here, which is what I'm doing now, we have this huge network that we can connect them to. It opens doors. So It's part of that economic diplomacy that is unique for Slovakia. We have this huge community that we benefit from.
And it is really that. It's a strong community. We've seen that demonstrated here in Texas as it's growing and emerging. I don't know if you want to talk right now about Texas, right? What's the opportunity that Slovakia sees within this great state?
Yeah, so let me go back to why I'm here. So I mentioned that I'm special representative to the United States for trade and investment on behalf of the Slovak Investment and Trade Development Agency. So last year around this time, or back in February, we opened Slovakia. We opened our first trade office in New York. So I cover the whole United States.
Oh, wow.
And my job is to do two things: to help bring investors from the United States, from Texas, to Slovakia, ideally in higher added value, robotics, advanced manufacturing, AI, and so on, but also to help Slovak companies expand. And that's what I have done through whether it's Slovak Pro or before helping through my marketing agency. And we have so much potential. We have so many technically skilled companies, founders. We just need to open the doors for them in the United States. And there's no better place than Texas for it. That's why we have been as Slovakia. I think we're the smallest country that has a country house during South by Southwest.
I think so too, right?
And we have been doing this with you guys at Q Branch.
Well, we held the biggest party. As you can, probably our listeners are hearing right now, we've got in the background, we took the opportunity while you were here. So it's the continuum of the celebration. I'm sorry, but I wanted everybody to kind of hear, what's the background? What's going on?
So what you can hear probably on the podcast is the Polish house that's happening at Q Branch. And yesterday we had the Slovak house. We had hundreds of people here, all-day programming. We had a keynote from Secretary of State of Texas, Jane Nelson.
She was great.
She is amazing. I think if she would hand out applications to become Texan after her speech, everybody would sign up.
I think she said that she's directly in charge of the establishment of the corporations. And so if there's anybody to do it, she is the one to do it.
Yeah,
she's been great.
And it was so we had a Slovak house yesterday, but the highlight was not just the speeches, and we had people from big corporations, AT&T that employs 2,000 people in Slovakia, but or successful companies that came to Texas from Slovakia are doing robots and lots of advanced manufacturing. But we brought 15 Slovak companies that were doing their pitches here, meeting investors, and that's what we want to do. We see Texas as a crucial and a critical location for us to grow and to help Slovak companies grow in the United States. It's the land of opportunity. We have our network here of Slovaks, and as our agency, SARI, or the Slovak Investment and Trade Development Agency, Texas is a focus for us. We want to not just come for Side by Southwest, but help develop programs with you guys, maybe some accelerated programs focused on dual-use technology, focused on advanced manufacturing, and come here more often.
Yeah, because when we talk about we're all on one planet, and we need to be able to find opportunities, and what are our strengths in that way. So, that's part of why we have this podcast, is so that people can. Yes, we recognize that you're here and we welcome you here, but what is the opportunity also for companies to continue to expand, and through partnerships and through friendships? I think that's part of the meaningfulness of your being here, making new friends, because that's the comfortability that now, hey, I can go out there, to visit you, and I feel a little safer knowing somebody that is there.
Definitely, and I think that's what we share. That's what's in common between Slovakia and Texas. The hospitality,
Huge.
And friendliness. That's what we pride ourselves on. When you come to Slovakia, everyone's going to help you, and everyone's going to make sure that you're having a good time. They're going to, do everything for you. And and for us, we're a small country in the middle of Europe. We have to work with the world. 92% of our economy or of our GDP goes to exports. We know how to do it.
You almost wake up and think, we have to go global. How do we work with folks, right?
And then, we cannot grow global companies in Slovakia. It's a small market. We have to, that's why we focus on the US. If a company is a startup or a more established company is successful in their US growth, that means they're employing more people in Slovakia because we have that technical talent, but they're also going to employ people here. So everybody wins. And then there's the opportunity to bring investors from Texas. There are certain sectors of our economy that we are really really good at. I mentioned robotics. We make the most cars in the world in Slovakia. Many people don't know that.
Oh, wow.
But that's a field that's undergoing full automation, moving into more advanced manufacturing.
Absolutely.
We have a huge benefit in having surplus of energy, which is nuclear energy. We have invested in nuclear many years ago, and now 61% of our energy comes from nuclear. 86% of our energy comes from clean energy sources.
Wow.
And we produce more than we consume, and we're building more nuclear facilities in partnership with the US.
Wow,
So,
I didn't know that.
And you know what you need energy for these days? AI.
AI, the data centers, right?
Data centers.
To really drive and push and continue to,
But not just data centers. You don't want to just build a data center that sucks out the energy. You want to build an infrastructure around it.
Absolutely.
So you want to bring AI companies, those that are successful in the US, but also need to be on the EU market. And Slovakia is a great location for that. So
how can Texans reach out to you? How can across any of our listeners reach out to you to find that opportunity?
Well, can I share like a LinkedIn or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is the spoiler alert.
Yeah, sure.
Email address. This is okay.
Yeah, sure. So Vladimir Lackovic, I'm sure we can show it.
Yeah, we'll put it on
at Sorry.com.
My man Joshua will put it in the tagline.
Sure.
Absolutely.
So my email,
with
my
your
LinkedIn,
permission, of course. I'm not going to put your address, your home address.
What I really would love to do is bring you and a whole delegation of Texans and Texas ecosystem leaders to Slovakia and deepen these partnerships that we have.
Absolutely.
And, together with our ambassador and our honorary consul that's very active here in Texas, Martin Valko, we want to bring more companies here, and we want to bring more representatives here and really focus on Texas.
I think that, we're excited about that because, we're headquartered here in Austin, but when we say Texas, we absolutely do. I mean, mean that, finding the right match. It may be in Brownsville, Texas, which is South Texas. It may be in Dallas, So and that requires a little bit of warmth, truly understanding what is the benefit before it's just a transaction of sorts, right?
You have to know the people.
You do. You really do.
And, when it comes to dual use, what you focus on,
right.
There's in Slovakia, our defense industry has grown tenfold over the last 3 years or so. And has doubled last year, I believe. So we have a long tradition in defense manufacturing, but also dual-use technologies. And I think, you need to manufacture some of that in Texas, and we have the skills in Slovakia. So companies that already do it in Slovakia can supply for the U.S. market and build their factories here as well. So there's a lot more opportunity.
I think it's important, right? When we talk about redundancies, to reduce risks, right? Risk of a geopolitical turbulence. Let's just leave it at that. I think that most of the smaller countries are interested in Texas for that alone, to be able to have resiliency, and that comes through the partnerships opportunity.
And it goes both ways,
It absolutely does.
And one thing that you guys, I spoke about this yesterday, but I think it's really important to know about Slovakia. It's a stable and safe country. One of the safest places for investment and a great landing pod for expansion to the EU.
The EU.
We're part of the EU. We use euro. We're a reliable partner. And if you want to grow, that's a great place in the whole region. So but I love Texas, as you can tell.
Yeah,
I've been coming to Austin.
The viewers, he didn't just buy that hat. That is his real hat, and I've seen him wear it more than one time. So
whenever I come to Texas, I get a chance to wear this hat.
That's cool. Next thing you do is we need to get you the buckle, and then
yes.
Start small, and we'll build it up, and then the horse, and then the whole nine.
Yeah, that would look funny in New York, but it works here.
Well, number one, I'm glad to call you a friend. I'm glad that you're not only a friend to me, but to Texas and Q Branch, and to continue to grow this relationship and find the opportunities where both economies can really flourish.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to next year, Slovak House at Q Branch.
That's right. This one was great. It is right now the golden standard of how to do an event here. Everybody was really complimentary of your programming. It was very well thought out, the speakers, the topics, and then in the evening, great conversations.
Glad to hear that. We really focus on not just bringing a huge crowd. We want to tailor the crowd for our companies, and we want to bring investors, we want to bring business leaders and friends of, Texas and friends of Slovakia to one room to deepen those partnerships and deepen those relationships. And I think that's what we accomplished. We had a great jazz concert that night.
It was a really good band.
So again, I'm already looking forward to next year, but hopefully there's going to be a few more trips in between where we can deepen that partnership.
Absolutely.
Not just coming to Sabai.
That's right. There are other activities beyond that. Okay. Well, Vladimir, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the friendship.
Excellent.